Call them up and say, I want to build a mill. What are your thoughts? They want to know what size wood you're doing. They want to know if you're doing grade or pallet. And the rest is history. I mean, they had plans to us within a couple weeks. Most guys take you 2 weeks to return a phone call. It's one of those deals where it's a fun relationship. You can go downtown and go get a hamburger with them, and it's like you've known them for 30 years. And it's fun. Dealing with Cleereman makes the industry fun for me. Because our learning curve was straight. You know, we came from Woodmiser to a 6-foot slant mill. And they were right there. They spent weeks and weeks with us on startup. That's priceless. Priceless information. He would program it, we'd run it. He'd program it, we'd run it. Now look at it. We haven't had to alter the programming or change any kind of like timings at all. From their first initial setup, it's still running today. And there's no charge for that customer service. I don't know where else you can get it like that, and they charge you something. I tried farming for a little bit, and it just wasn't me. You know, at a young age, I caught the sawdust, and when I saw that blade moving, I was hooked. The summer of 2018, one of the brothers came into the yard because we were buying logs from them, so on and so forth, from Shamco, and I said, "Are you interested in sawmilling? Because I'm looking to go bigger, but I want some help. You know, they're loggers, they got trucks, they got excavators. I mean, you name it, they got it." And sure shit, it wasn't a month later we were partnered. And 5 years later, or 4 years later, we decided we kept the Woodmiser going. Let me back up a little bit. We ran that 2 shifts, just ran it. Pretty soon, we're like, the next step is an industrial mill, like big time. So we traveled the Midwest, me and Scott, one of the partners involved, and saw this mill, saw that mill, saw this mill. Everybody's slicing the apple a different way. At my fingertips as an engineer, 4 engineers really, and Paul, Fran's there 8-9 hours a day every day. He'll answer the phone and talk to you. They don't ignore anybody. That's what I like. They did the plans like we talked about, but then the minute the equipment started bolting down, or actually when the equipment started getting delivered, Jeff was on site. Why? Because he was setting all the equipment up in an order. I didn't realize it when I was just going with the flow and trying to do everything I could. He set up the whole mill kind of outside how he wanted to filter it into the mill. Wow. That takes all the guesswork out of it. Instead of scratching your head like, where's this roll case go? Nope, it's 1-8, put it right here. I didn't have to question anything. Those guys put it online, put it on center, because they wanted us to succeed. And the passion and quality that they had us use bigger anchors, better sealant. No corners were cut. And that's what I like. It may take an extra investment up front, but we got it back already. We got all that back. Everything that we paid extra for, and a lot of these other customers complain about, we got that back. That's history. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. Do not build a mill without having optimization, because it takes the guesswork out, the productivity goes up. So we hemmed and hawed, and we pulled the pin with Cleereman. No matter how many times you look around the industry, Cleereman's involved. They may have other equipment, but Cleereman's got the carriage. Cleereman has this. So G&G updated their mill in Florence. Real good friends with Jay and his wife Lori. Great people. They upgraded their mill probably a year or 2 before us, and we were over there like, oh yeah, this is all nice. And he bought and ordered the first edger from Cleereman. We went over there and watched it. Amazing machine. Called Cleereman up, says, can you put a gang box on there? We need an optimized edger and a gang combo. Well, they did it. And now we have it set up where if we put a full-size cant in there with a live edge, we don't lose any curve versus the head saw. I won't tell you how many saws are in there, but there's enough that we can confidently send a 3-sided cant over there and not lose curve. So we're happy with that. And Cleereman goes, this edger is not a dedicated gang. It's just a gang when you want to take some low-grade lumber and send it through there. Well, me being me, anything under 13 inches of a log size, it goes over there. And the one day we cut 600 and some logs, 530 logs went through that gang. So that tells you the ratio. We're working that gang hard, and it's flawless. It runs better than a dedicated gang. So we got the second one, kind of a prototype, but nothing wrong with it. Just grease it, keep sharp saws in it, and it'll cut. Right now our edger's running at 450 feet a minute on the boards, and the gang is about 115 a minute. So we're leaning on it, and it's been a great setup. Cleereman goes, what do you want to do with electrical? Well, what do you mean? Well, you got to buy all the panels and all the starters and fade, all this different stuff. And we're like, we don't want to get another company or someone from some state way away from here involved. And Cleereman, Paul and Rod and them guys and Jeff, they're like, we can build the box for you. Really? We pulled the pin immediately because now, from our electrical panel to our machines, Cleereman has the blueprint. It was a month of going back and forth, how we wanted this set, how we wanted that set. We debated whether or not to get a resaw. At a 13-inch average log size around here, we didn't see the resaw to be valuable because a double cut, you've got it down to a square block that almost goes in there anyway. So, a resaw may get you a few more grade boards, but it's just another huge expense, another operator. So, so it was late 2021 in the summer. We finally pulled the pin with Cleereman, and they said, we have a spot open. If you want it, we need a check. We got a check to them because that was just when COVID kind of was not peaking, but there. The supply chain issues weren't such an issue quite yet, and we took that spot. So September 22nd, we took all the Wood-Mizer stuff out, sold it for 60% of what we paid for it. So we got a real good value on that. Now, the building, we had to dig a pit, 20 by 20 by 8 foot deep pit for our sawdust and on the bottom of the band wheel. We had to re-engineer the trusses. For 2 months in October, November, we had the roof open. The saw was brought down with a crane and lowered in through the facility like that. New concrete for the debarker, addition for the green chain area. And lo and behold, all we had on site was me and say 4 of my guys and Cleereman crew with 3 to 4 of their guys. A bunch of rental equipment we had, and we went after it. We said we're gonna work 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, and we're gonna work in them 10 hours. And September 22nd, 4 months later, January 10th, that mill was alive and running. 6 or 7 days after it, because I was sawing at first. I love sawing, but I have a lot to run here. My head sawyer broke his clavicle bone, so I was on deck. Brand new mill. Never had a mill this size. I got the programmer behind me, set, bump, forward. I mean, I'm learning to, 6 days later, cut 30,000 feet. They had us right around 20 to 25,000 feet, including all of our saw builders, and because you have to build certain saws for certain speeds. Well, we started accumulating also when we got to 30. I said, I'm an angle finder. I like to find how to get more faster. It's part of my push, all of a sudden it was 35. Then we had our bad days and learning and very little bugs. So we just kept cutting and cutting and cutting. Now, from January till now, which is our second year kind of, we are averaging 40,000 feet a day. We're a heavy basswood producer, and everybody knows that's been around debarkers, basswood's bad. So we designed it to have a lineal discharge with Cleereman, and the bull wheels actually kick up and push the log off. So it's a simpler, less moving parts. So then they designed the bull wheels to, how you normally roll your log to debark it. They also rotate down. So anybody that's cut basswood, you can have that log and poof, the whole sheet comes off. All you gotta do, hit the debarker, bull wheels down, hits a belt, lineal discharge. All the debarkers out there nowadays have to be ground right up and then 90-degree discharge. We happened to drop a log in there one time. Just happens. Come right out up the belts and dropped onto the pile. Didn't have to get the crane out. And we did, our best ever was 906 logs on basswood. And it was 65,000 feet that day through the mill. Double cuts were around 15 years ago, but everybody got away from them because they got a resaw and they got a single cut because the single cut could keep up to the resaw. Well, that's a nice little game you're playing there, but have a double cut so when the resaw is full, you're still productive and producing wood to the edger. I don't get it. So, it's, to me, double cut, now that we're running the filing room, they actually think the single cuts would be harder to do. The trimmer is calculating the exact inches you want. So it's a two saw trimmer, one movable. Very, very streamlined, very easy to run. You got one saw going back and forth according to what the computer. And Cleereman's like, that's all you need. And my whole time I see all these mills with drop saws and they got 15 saws in there and this and that. Two saw trimmers, all you need. Okay, well, look at it. It just, we don't go below a certain footage of length to make sure that we have quality lumber. The trim saw allows us to trim the boards off and make it easier for the person to put it in the kiln. And we gained right around 800 feet per load, trucking, weight-wise. So you add that up over a year. Sawing costs, extremely low with the optimization, because historically the sawyer will have to bump up the tapers and kerf and all that. Boom, it's right, it's accurate. Sawing costs go down. You're already going through the log versus messing with it. And our cost per board foot is down compared to anybody else's mill. I'd put this mill against anybody in the nation as far as sawing costs. I really would. Because we're averaging 3,700 feet per guy per day. It's pretty good. I think at our worst, we lost a half a day. We saw during lunch, we go right through, we don't stop for anything. The best day ever for downtime was 45 seconds total in 10 hours. That's with the sawyers high-fiving on the way by. That blew my mind. I've never expected that. That's, for how many moving parts are out there, that's very impressive. They even gave us plans that the concrete guy and I were going off of for the I-beams in the concrete. Everything was just dead nuts, perfect. And it was my first project of this caliber, So we were going along, and Jeff Krieger at Cleereman, super good guy. He kept saying there's saw line here, the center of the saw line. We'd measure off of that, measure off of that, measure off of that. He goes, I'm telling you it's gonna work. Because keep in mind now, from the debarker all the way to the green chain, the wood has to transfer 90 degrees. Anywhere it goes at even a 10-degree angle causes problems. So look how nice that mill runs off of their plans, Cleereman's plans. It came together within half an inch. we had to just bump things around a little bit with the pry bar, and it was just beautiful. Quality, it's next level information. At the end of the day, at 4, we quit at 4, so 4:15 it generates a report. It goes to me, the head sawyer, and the 4 brothers, and shows you how many cans, how many times he overrid the system to make a different slab, or how many ties or boards, what size the log is, small end, big end, how long the log is. Why does it say that? Because Cleereman can set up that computer so when that thing hits an 8'6" or longer log, it can signal us that's a good tie log, because they have to be 8'6" minimum. And also that tracking is the internet coming in. So Cleereman, I don't know how many years ago, bought the controls part of it. No one else in the industry has front to back coverage of a sawmill. Cleereman has that. I call up any of those 3 guys at the controls. This is a year and a half later. Hey, how's it going? We got a problem, our thing won't turn on or whatever. You know, I'm not much of a computer guy. They log on remotely, come through the internet, and you can see the mouse moving around the screen, and they fix it. You're good to go. And that service is priceless to us. I mean, they don't charge us for that phone call. You call up the office, everybody's good to work with. Fran and Paul and Rod, I mean, there's too many names to name. Became friends with Michael, one of the grandsons there, super smart. And now he's the guy I call. I need this, need that. And the relationship, as we started, was it a perfect world? No. We butted heads, but if you don't butt heads, you're not human. Now, the synergy between us and Cleereman is just, it's beautiful, because we're running their stuff at the fast as it can go in my mind. So it's giving them good reports. Have we found any weak spots? Nope. Class act. Just last week we had something go wrong with one of the sensors or something on the edger. Called up, they teleported in and fixed it on their computer system, and we have it running in about 2 minutes. That phone call to me was worth, you know, we're doing 4,000 feet an hour. You can do the math on that. Not a charge, no charge. And parts, Cleereman has every part you need. They service mills, we took a tour down there. 1950s they have sawmills still, or carriages still running, and a lot of them are Amish or whatever you want to call it, but they still have parts for those guys. Another competitor, not a competitor, but another company, it gets to a certain year of manufacturing, it's done. You have to upgrade or you don't get parts. I couldn't believe that they would treat somebody like that. They're not afraid of growth. You know, acquiring the Cleereman controls, getting the edger division in Crandon going. It's just amazing. The edger itself, the combination gang edger is like the hottest one that's flying off the shelf. Colleagues around the UP, one guy was building a new mill on the east end. He came over here and redesigned his whole mill because of what he saw. That says itself right there. Other competitors or colleagues in the industry don't have Cleereman behind them. They have a different manufacturer. Struggling. Can't get this. Call me back tomorrow. Tomorrow? We lost 40,000 feet today. You know, and I don't know. If we were 1,000 miles away, I'd have a Cleereman mill. That's the truth. It opened my eyes to the future, and we're running it right with them.